It's getting close to winter time again. It is, what is today? Today's the day after Thanksgiving, so November 24th, 25th this year. So the last 3 weeks I've just been using the electric heater out here, but that's not something I want to use all winter because it's just not efficient and it just doesn't really put off enough heat like once it starts to really get cold. Down here, I have a Chinese diesel heater. I got it last year after a big ice snowstorm, and it did a great job. The thing really pumps out a lot of heat. I spent like $150 on the unit. I don't know how much money I spent in diesel. I'm gonna keep track this year, but I do know it runs for quite a while on a gallon of diesel. It's impressive. So last year I had this sitting up here on a plastic shelf, had it lined up. This year I got this big couch and there's no other spot in this office for the couch, so I want to figure out a different way. So I found this shelving unit on the side of the road a couple months ago and ended up not having a use for it, so I've been meaning to get rid of it. Luckily I didn't. It's a little bit too short for this window, but I grabbed some pieces of 2x4, screwed it into the side of the windowsill, and now it works perfectly and it's really sturdy. Yeah, I'm about ready to put up the diesel heater, put a little bit of diesel in there and fire it up, and hopefully it runs this year and I don't need to do any work on it tomorrow. Last year I also built this piece of wood shaped for the window, and then I cut out a big section in there and then grabbed, this is off of something to do with a gutter. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, put this in here, and this is how it exhausts out of the office, and there's not any wood like in this area, so there's not really anything for it to get too hot and burn. And yeah, it did a great job last year too. So I got it in there, but it wants to fall this way. So, let's see, I think I'm gonna maybe I'll just put one in there, and then after it works for a little bit, I'll put the second one in. Last year, when I removed this and took it out of the window, when springtime came, I put a note in my calendar to remind me in October to take this apart, clean it, prepare it for winter. October came, I saw that note, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. I'll just do it if I need to when it comes time. And that's what happened. So, we'll see. This video might be an engine teardown, I'm not sure. So this unit still does need electricity to start, but once it's started, it doesn't use it or barely uses any. And to get the electricity, I have a deep cycle battery here, and then an intelligent pulse repair charger that just kind of keeps it topped off. See, this is another thing that I wanted to do this October. You know, check the battery, get it charged if it needed to, but I didn't. So we'll see. Battery's checking it. It is still over 80% from when I had it topped off. Okay. Alright, one thing that always sucks is filling this thing. I don't like to touch diesel with my fingers because it stinks so bad. So I just have a glove. Hey, Ruben. But you see how high it is. So I'm like standing on the couch And then especially after you get back from the gas station and you got, I don't know, like a 5-gallon tank, and just lifting 5 gallons over your head steadily to get into this is always a little bit of a pain. And I didn't stabilize this fuel over the winter. I don't know if you have to with diesel, especially when it's only sitting for 8 or 9 months before it's used again. Alright, that's enough for a test. Okay. It's been just long enough where I'm questioning how you start it. I think we just hold the on button for, yep, H3. So it goes through a few cycles. That doesn't sound great, but what it does first is it starts priming. Yeah, okay, I remember this sound at the end of last year, but it kept starting and kept working strong. Okay, so anyway, what it does is it goes through some cycles. It first starts off by priming and shooting diesel into the system, and then it has a glow plug which will get hot and ignite, and then it will start. And it always takes a minute and a half to actually get started. Yeah, even if this works right now, I feel like I should take it apart the next day or two. Still no error codes, and you can hear the clicking. That's the fuel pump. And on the wall over there, out of frame, you can't see it, but I got a carbon monoxide detector. Just because with this running in here, you know, I don't want to die. Oh? Oh, is that? I thought I felt heat for a second. That's starting to warm up. Oh yeah. Cool. Alright, I'll turn off the electric heater and should be good to go here. You ready for some super warm air, puppy? Yeah. Yeah, so we have been running for 2 minutes. 2 minutes after the actual heat started coming out. And no error codes yet. Alright. Oh, feeling pretty good about it. Good job, Chinese diesel heater. So this is a continuation of the Chinese diesel heater. Hooked it up and it worked pretty good for a couple days, and it is still working. It is still putting out heat. It's still turning on every time. It's still operating as it should, but it is making a lot of noise, a lot of like grinding, crackling, something or another. So I think the bearings in the blower motor have went bad, and I've kind of been putting it off for a couple days, but it just needs to be done, and now is as good a time as any because it's just not that cold out. It's like 55 degrees on December 5th, so it's pretty mild. So I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and just really hope it's not that big or that hard of a job. Nothing more than I hate getting diesel on my fingers. So the diesel inlet is in the bottom, and I'm going to use these hose clamps to pinch the hose and then remove it. And there's only going to be a little bit of diesel escaping, hopefully. Alright. Oh, that might not have been the best idea because I don't know how I'll get this hose out. Alright. Okay, so I got the motor assembly out. It's a little bit of a pain, but not so bad. This is what I'm replacing right here. It's this the blower assembly, and then it's the piece behind it. And you can just hear it not being quiet. Alright. There we go. First thing first, take this controller board off the top. Now it's a pretty simple engine, so I feel like I understand it pretty well. But I also don't want to be too cocky because I don't want to run into trouble. Alright. Looks like this unplugs from there. That's the motor control. And then this yellow and green one controls the glow plug, which just gets the fuel hot, explodes. And then this one right here that runs along here, that is something that lets the computer know how hot it's getting. I'll go ahead and unscrew this. Yeah, same size. Damn. Oh, I messed up the seal. I didn't know there was a seal here. I knew there was a seal underneath this next part. You can see the same green, teal, whatever color. I didn't know there was a seal there. And the seal is just made out of a paper material. Almost like cardboard. And you know, it's stuck to this side a little bit, stuck to that side a little bit. So even if I get this fixed tonight, I don't know if I'll be able to get it put back together until I get another one of these ordered. So this next step seems like it's one of the most annoying. I don't even know if that's even. Not quite. Huh. Okay, so this is this piece of plastic, piece of like Bakelite looking plastic. It just pulls off, but I think it's pretty easy to break. Ooh, and so my plan was to use 2 fingernail files that are pretty sturdy and slowly work it, but they're too thick. Like, ooh, yeah, I felt the first little tinge of movement there. Getting there. Oh yeah. Cool. Got it. And unscathed. And there's a few little tits on there from the factory that I'm gonna whittle down just to make sure it is an even spin once it gets up to speed. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure how to get this part off yet. So yeah, this is the first spot where things just haven't went super smooth, but I think it's gonna be fine. I'm pretty sure it's just pressure fitted in there. Just gotta like pull. God, I'm pulling everything I got.
They encourage it to move, but I don't know how well secured on it is.
I think I made that same sound.
I'm going to mess with that for a minute. I find a good way of doing it. I'll show you either that or I'll break my black tongue. First, the way to do it is you get 2 screwdrivers in behind, paying a lot of attention to the fact that the hall sensor, the wires for the motor go in here.
Okay, I took mine off the unit, so we'll see if that's still possible. Used the screwdriver, did a lot of prying, and then I have these, I don't know what kind of pliers, just like bent pliers, went in there and like bend it the other way, and I already got it off, but I'm taking it off again. I put it on so I could take it off so I could show. Alright. I love so much that you can hear it, because sometimes when you fix things and you're not really sure what the problem is and you don't know what to fix, but this is just, it's so obvious that at least one of the problems is the bearings. Alright, let's get this motor taken apart. I have so many different bits from my years of reselling online and getting broken electronics and repairing them and opening weird things to clean them, but it looks like this is some sort of star bit. And I have just the screwdriver for it, just the bit for it. Looks in pretty good shape. Alright, and here is the first of the bearings. And then this side is a little bit more complicated because it has electronics attached to it. Looks like maybe you have to pull back the brushes. But how? Hey! Okay. So there's the, I'm glad that wasn't fling out. The brushes that spin around that. Okay. Oh, and this one did have a blue one. The other side that I took out wasn't. Okay. Cool. And it looks like they sit in a little piece of a rubber, maybe to help with noise. The motor, being all that wrapped copper magnetic, threw me off. Wasn't prepared for it to jump. Okay. Now we'll keep that pressed down. And it goes this way. It's tough. Alright, camera died, so I'm not sure when. So getting these two screws into the motor was the most difficult thing so far, because the motor, has a magnetic pull and it's just wanting to offset itself. So you get one in, but if you get it screwed into this side even more than like the smallest amount of turn, it makes this side cockeyed and it makes the other screw next to impossible to be put in. So I'm using like my leg, my knee, like it really is a three-hand job. But it's put together and much quieter than before. So that's great to see. Good. Unfortunately, I can't find one of those gaskets by themselves. But they all come with the glow plug repair kit, which wouldn't be a bad idea to have if that ever goes out. So, let's see. Yep. So yeah, $22 for that. And it should get here in 2 days on December 8th. Cool, order placed. The cool thing about this is it comes with that extra gasket where I can get further into the heater and check for soot and whatever kind of buildup there is. So I can clean that part out and then replace that filter as well. So just another thing to do where hopefully I won't have to take it apart again for another year or two.
What are you doing?
I'm just gonna film the mailbox.
Oh, cool.
So I can pretend like I'm waiting and I didn't already get the gasket for the heater. All right. After 2 days of waiting, so pretty quick, I received the glow plug kit, which don't need the glow plug, but need the gaskets that are in there. I'm sure if you're a person who knows about gaskets and what they could be made out of, you might be able to tell me, but it just feels like a pressed cardboard or something. Like, I feel like I could snap it pretty easily. It definitely doesn't feel like a rubber or a silicone or anything like that. Man, I don't know if this is a bad move or not, but I think I'm not gonna dig into this because I don't want to change the glow plug. I started putting this back together and then realized that this is supposed to go on the inside, so I'm taking a few screws apart again. And I'm especially glad that I filmed the first part of this, because I'm referring to my own filming to make sure I'm getting it put back together correctly, because I have a few questions. For example, this thing that's behind this, I wasn't exactly sure the placement, but now I am. So let's get this taken back apart. Really not a bad mistake, only 4 bolts. And I do know that this Bakelite looking plastic does have a pretty specific tolerance on how it gets placed. It's like 0.1 millimeter of a gap or something like that. I did watch a couple things online, and people are saying essentially it is a credit card gap. So just a small gap there. Okay, and you can easily push it too much. So I'm going to get out a card right now. I think a little bit more, yeah. Alright, so I have it all put back together. I still need to get the exhaust and the input put on and tightened up, but everything seems like it's done correctly. I really hope it is, because at least right now I don't have time to take it apart again. Alright, everything's going good so far. Turned it on, about 30 seconds later you can hear the fuel pump starting to go. It looks like it worked an air bubble out that appeared because of removing the line. Now it usually takes a minute and a half from turning on to actually start producing heat. I am feeling some airflow, which is great. And the noise in here, I think I filmed some of it beforehand, but the noise when I usually turn it on is just like, and there's been none of that. Just the fuel pump clicking, just the thing revving up. No heat yet, but it is revving up faster. Okay, the temperature starting to warm up just slightly. Fuel gun. Ambient temperature of the room is about 62.4. Here we go, 70 in there already. Yep, getting warmer and warmer. When this thing gets going, you can't put your hand this close to it for any longer than a second or two, because it does pump out some major heat. 85, 86. Cool. So I am feeling good about it, but I'm not going to celebrate for a few hours of this running. But man, that sounds so much better.